Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Donny Ross. He's just released an absolutely killer new record called Souls with No Goals, and I'm super excited to talk to him about it. Donny, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. It's a nice weather down here.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. You mentioned you're in Long Beach, California. I'm in Los Angeles, so not too far away.
All right, cool.
Love spending some time in Long Beach. It's a pretty solid
What's that?
area. I said I love spending some time in Long Beach. It's a super nice area.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's all right.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
built
it's
it
not
up a
bad.
lot. I used to have some friends that went to college over there, and it was not so nice. But over the past 5 years or so, they've really made it a lot better place to be around, for sure.
Yeah. It's getting better.
Cool, man. Well, obviously I want to keep the focus on the music here. First thing I got to start with is this entire record is like the perfect modern take on alternative rock. You've really put together something special here. How long have you been
Thank you.
working on this, and how long did it kind of take you to put it all together prior to putting it out?
So some of the songs I wrote or ideas of writing them when I was probably younger. Um,
Okay.
they most of the lyrics come from my growing up in in Scotland, where I'm from, the Highlands of Scotland.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I had ideas that I'd written down, and I used to strum along in acoustic sessions with like jamming sessions and stuff like
Sure.
that, and sort of bands I played along with, and other guys that I played along with too. Um, but yeah, when I put it all together, I've been putting it all together for maybe the close to probably 2 years, probably two
Wow.
years. I released my first album, the Happy Fridays. I released that when was just with an acoustic guitar and an iMac. Really, I didn't do. I was learning basically how to record, how to master
Sure.
and stuff like that. And it's very difficult. I'm by no means a professional. So with this second one, I had bought more stuff, and it was kind of growing my repertoire and adding it more together, and educating myself on how to record properly, and how to get my vocals and stuff like that sounding a bit better. Uh,
That's really
so
cool.
yeah, this was a bit more of a further work on.
I was going to say, yeah, because it looks, based off what you've put out over the past year or so, you've been really busy. But
Yeah.
comparing this first album to this second album, it sounds like a lot more work went into it, a lot more thought, and a lot more time as well. And you can kind of hear that on your end.
Yes, it absolutely did. I balance work life with my music,
Of
and
course.
I've got to admit that the COVID helped with that. We were locked down and everything.
Yeah. You're not the first
It
person
was
I've
only
heard that
limited
from.
amount.
You're not the first person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there
Um,
was a lot of drinking and a lot of songwriting.
Hey, that's not a bad way to spend your time. Could be a lot worse.
What's that?
I said it's not a bad way to spend your time. It could have been a lot worse.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
So I want to talk about the production on the record as well. First off, did you have any outside help putting it all together?
Yeah, I put everything together myself. I did have
Wow.
outside
Okay.
help in mastering
Okay.
it to equalize the sounds and get things like sounding how I wanted. I found myself, I would start tweaking things, and then I would lose control, and it wouldn't sound how I wanted it to sound, and I
Sure.
wouldn't be able to get it back. So I always found that someone else doing the mastering for me just helped. It sounded better someone else doing it. They were more in control. It helped a
Totally.
lot.
I mean, that's a whole different side of putting the album together. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, sure, you can make the music, but then the whole technical side of doing all that stuff it's a science for sure.
It is. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It's not as easy as I
yeah,
thought it
man.
was.
Totally. One thing that I specifically needed to point out on this record as a whole is the drums are amazing from start to finish. Like, obviously, there's so much more that you can focus on, but the drums like take you out of it. Are you a drummer? Like, or is this you on here?
I'm not really. I do most of my drums are my drums come from a keyboard type. It's an electronic drum kit.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
It sounded amazing. Seriously.
Yeah, I was I've got a really good sequencer that I put together and stuff that creates it. And yeah, it's good. I need to work on maybe putting a live performance on to show that side of things. But right now, I don't really have much like amplification in the way of amplification and stuff, or it's something I have to look more on. I've been focusing so much on the recording stuff that I haven't really done much in the way of a live performance where you see it all come together.
Right.
But because it's only myself, really. it's only myself.
Sure.
So yeah, I really need to look more into that. It's definitely something that I need to push forward.
Yeah, you'd never be able to tell the difference that it was a machine or an actual person. So good job on that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I gotta say. So
that's fantastic.
I don't want to look too far into the future here, but do you have an idea of what you might want to do following up this record? Are you going to be looking to experiment, or do you want to keep on the same path of sound?
No, I definitely want to experiment. I love the drums. One of the main focuses I look on is drums and bass. I love the bass, and I like a good running, a good hard-hitting bass. That stems from a lot of like Scottish traditional music.
Okay.
The dancing music will carry a good bass, and the bagpipes will have a drone. If you've ever heard a pipe band, is the drums, as well as with the drone and the play on top. It's got a good beat to it. So yeah, I try and push that into my music. So one thing that I have been kind of working on is more electronic sounding music. Stepping away from the traditional sounding stuff and looking more into electronic stuff.
Okay.
It's very early.
Can expect an electronic album coming in hopefully less than a year would be nice.
Yeah.
But take your time. So I got to know, going off of this album and the influences of it, there's obviously a lot of like modern rock, alternative rock. Who were you listening to? Who sort of inspired its creation?
So one of the big inspirations I took was from probably the Fontaines DC. Were a big band that came out quite recently in that time period, and I loved hearing them. They're a band from Ireland, and they were very, very good.
Yeah.
I thought so. I listened to a lot of them, and you can hear maybe a good influence of them. A lot of the Queens of the Stone Age stuff. I like Queens of the Stone Age, and probably the bands I listen to the most: Oasis, Stone Roses.
I hear all of that coming through, but it sounds good because you've made. I mean, like I said, that you can hear the influence, but there's also a ton of originality that's come through as well. You know what I mean? So but I am very interested to hear an electronic take on what you might create as well, and that's usually a lot easier when you're doing it by yourself. In terms of like instrumentation and putting it all together. It seems like it would be easier.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, when it's stepping away from my vocals would be a lot easier, I think.
Sure. But I like the vocals on this because they're definitely like on the lo-fi side. Like they kind of sit in the background. You know what I mean? I felt that the instrumentation was definitely at the forefront, which is why I mentioned the drums in the first place. Like the drums and the bass 100% take over, and your voice kind of sits back here, but it's still like your voice is like an instrument almost.
Yes.
It's not,
Yeah, I try to get that kind of sound. Yeah.
You got it for sure.
Oh, that's cool. That's great.
So what's like your process for creating a song? How does it start for you?
So for me, it always starts with that drums. It starts with finding that beat.
Okay.
I find that beat, and then I will either take the bass and play that bass riff, which I'll have a rough idea of, or I'll usually take on the guitar. It's the rhythm next. For some of the tunes I start with just like an acoustic guitar, and I'll be playing around. I'm constantly. I've got them all around my apartment. So
there you go.
I'll be in the living room. I'll grab my acoustic. I'll start playing something. and that's where a song will stem from. And then from there, it will be an idea, something that lyrics will come from something that I maybe watched, something that I was thinking about.
Sure.
And I'll write something off that, try and make a connection with the sound and how I'm feeling at the time, and then I'll try and stem from that. It just kind of happens.
Nice.
With a good helping of some Scottish whiskey as well.
Oh yeah. Well, you gotta get the creative juices running.
That's exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
So I gotta be honest, because the vocals kind of sit in the background, it's a little difficult to hear the context of the music. So what are you singing about? What are you telling a story? What are the themes that you're covering?
So a lot of my lyrics, they end up telling a story more. I feel that there's a story in there, rather than lyrics that would maybe have describe more of a feeling. For some reason, I write in more poetic form, I feel.
Sure.
So yeah, the songs have meaning. One of the big ones is Saturday Nights at the Old War Memorial. That was it's about our youth that we spent in Scotland, and we had a big old war memorial section. It wasn't really a war memorial; it was an old war bunker.
Sure.
That we used to meet up and go for sort of drinking and parties or whatever, and that's where we would go for pre-drinks before we would go to a party. So we were like 17, 18, or whatever age we were, and that's where we would go to meet up. So that song is very much about that.
Nice. So how long have you been in California for?
I've been in California for, I think, 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what brought you over here? Just kind of just new exploration?
Yeah, I came over here on a holiday and I met my wife.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, I married a California girl. So that's
man, that's the dream.
How you doing? What's that?
That's the dream.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's what they say.
You did it. Well, good for you, man. So no, I gotta know, now that you've taken this path, you're making music, you're consistent with it, what is it that you enjoy about it the most?
What's that? Sorry?
I said, now that you've decided that you're making music, you're doing your thing, what is it that you enjoy the most about it as a whole?
It's meeting people. I love some people send me their bands. When I started, I only started an Instagram page, and that's basically my social media. I wasn't really good with like Facebook or anything, and I tried it. I wasn't really I didn't really use it too well, I kind of just brushed it aside most of the time. But my Instagram, I got a lot of people coming up to me with other bands, with their bands, and that was really cool. I thought it was really cool speaking to them, and you meet these other characters and their other sounds. That's probably the best thing I've taken from.
Totally. It's a huge community. It's a community of people.
When other bands hit me up and say, hey, listen to my music.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I really enjoy that part of it.
That's really cool, man. And another thing is, you mentioned trying to get a band together, or at least get some people to play these songs. Do you want to play these songs live? Do you have any plans to maybe tour them locally?
Yeah, I would love to. I would absolutely love to play it live. It's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult than it would be to put together. I would need to find an actual band, an actual group.
Right.
Los Angeles, there's bound to be people around,
Tons of people. Endless amounts of musicians.
Yeah, there's loads of them here. So yeah, it would just be finding the time as well, balancing at what point does the music stop and work starts. I still have a life. I have to have a proper income and a living.
Of course.
But yeah, absolutely. It would be fantastic. I would love to do a gig one day.
That would be awesome. Well, yeah, you know what? It definitely takes time, because not only do you have to interview yourself to make sure that they can play your music, then you got to teach them, then you got to get the booking agent and do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not as easy as just a one-man show. So I get you.
No.
I say you could do it for yourself once you get the electronic album out. Then you can just get up there and DJ.
Absolutely,
You don't need
absolutely.
anyone.
Or I could do some acoustic sets. Like I
Yeah,
try
there
and
you
do my
go.
best. But you're sometimes in some of the songs they just don't sound the same. You know, you
No, I
need that
know.
bass line and you need that
Right.
rhythm.
There's plenty of open mic opportunities around LA that I'm sure you could
That's it.
pop into.
Yeah, the open mic competitions. Yeah, I
Yep,
would
there
love
you
to
go.
step up for
At
one of them.
least just to get the experience, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be a good laugh. Be a good laugh.
Totally. So let's see. It's a full album of songs. If you had to recommend one single song on the album to introduce someone to you, which one would it be?
I think it would be. I really like Stags. Stags has got a good rhythm.
Yeah,
I liked it from the beginning. When I wrote it, I had this rough kind of demo that was kind of loosely there, and then I brought it all together, and I liked the sound straight away. It was a great song to play on the guitar. It's got a great rhythm. So yeah, when it came together, that was one of my favorites. When I listen to it now, I quite like the Glasgow Necropolis.
sure.
It's a good. It's got a good rhythm to it. It's got that lo-fi kind of vibe too. I enjoy that a lot.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what others. The Lips of Fire. I love the bass line on that one
Yeah.
too. So yeah, I mean, I think my favorite, if I had to recommend one song, it would be Stags.
Nice. See, what I would recommend is because it's for me, it was more of like it was a listening experience. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There are certainly songs that you could take and put on a playlist or listen, just like at once. But I would recommend for everyone to start at the beginning and just let it flow through so you can get the full feeling of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely. I think that's probably the way to go.
Absolutely.
So going forward, who would be like a dream collaboration for you?
What? Sorry.
Who would be a dream collaboration for you? Which artist would you like
Anyone.
to work with?
If it could be anyone.
Anyone, dead or alive.
It's got to be Liam Gallagher.
Yeah? Okay, so where would you put him? Would you put him on vocals? Would you put him on guitar? What would you do with him?
I'd have Liam. I'd have Liam on vocals.
Nice. You guys could duet.
I don't know, just cause carnage.
That's funny. All right, man, I've only got a couple more questions for you at this point, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
start wrapping things up. I want to know for you, in a perfect situation, what does the next year look like for you?
Next year for me, I'm going to be trying to work on this electronic, this new sound. I would love to do it too. I would love to do a gig. It'd be fantastic to do a gig. And now that Los Angeles is opening back up, you just don't know what's around
Yes,
the corner.
yes.
There's open mic nights. I might get up there and get up there and do an open mic. I also plan going back to Scotland next year once, of course, the COVID is all lifted and everything. I would love to go back to my hometown
Yeah.
and speak with my good friends. They mean a lot to me. All
Oh,
my
I'm
boys
sure,
back
man.
there.
I'm
So
sure
it
they
would be
miss
great.
you.
I hope they are. Yeah, it would be absolutely fantastic to go back with them and get. I just want a good old drinking session and get a good jam like the good old
Yeah,
days it was. Back then. We might go down the tanks and drink in the tanks again in the old
there
war
you go.
memorial.
That's so funny. Yeah, man, that's amazing. I think you'll make it happen. I mean, you should be able to go hopefully by the end of this year, if not sooner.
Yeah,
But as
I
far
think
as an
so.
open mic, like I would say start looking. You never know. There might be something. You just got to get
I
up there
am.
and try.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'll keep an eye out. I'm always around then, and I've got a good few mates in the music
Yeah,
scene here as well too.
nice.
So yeah, absolutely. See how it goes with
Yeah,
that. That'd be
man.
fantastic.
Well, let me know. I'd love to see it.
I'll I will. I'll keep you
Please,
posted on it.
please do.
Absolutely.
All right, Donnie, my last question for you here is for the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that is going to listen to your music for the first time, what is a message that you would like to pass off to them?
Just what message would I pass on to somebody listening? This it's I'm a real person. It's all me that's writing the tunes. It's me that's singing the tunes. It's me that's doing everything with the tunes. Apart from the mastering, I get help with mastering. So, but yeah, I mean, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You know, I'm delighted to get to listen. Music should never be forced on someone. But absolutely, if you like it, hit me up. Hit me up on my Instagram. I'll speak to you.
Hell yeah, that's
That would be my
awesome.
message. Have a
No,
good time. Have a
that's a
beautiful
great
time.
message. You honestly seem like a good person to hang out with. So I would say hit him up. Donnie, thank you so
That's
much for
cool.
your time. Thank you for making this work. And for everyone else out there, Souls with No Goals. Give it a listen, check it out, follow Donnie, and see what he's up to. Awesome.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Yeah, man. Have a
Thank
good
you.
rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.
You
All
too,
right.
mate.
Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.